Tonight on NXT, we have a fatal four-way between Io Shirai, Mia Yim, Lacey Evans, and Bianca Belair. A forgotten son sends Mitch Taverna to the waste bin. Tommaso Ciampa has choice advice for one Johnny Gargano. And for the main event, we have Heavy Machinery versus the Undisputed Era. Who wins? Who loses? Let's get in to the nitty-gritty.
And boy howdy, this was a bit of a brief episode of NXT, even though, yeah, sure, it was kind of an hour. It wasn't quite. We had a grand total of 3 matches. It was very promo heavy, and I think they're just filling in space due to the holiday season. Most people aren't going to be tuning in after passing out after having, Christmas meals. But anyway, we started off the match with the Fatal 4-Way, and it was pretty damn good. It really wasn't everyone gets their moment match, and that all happened near the end of the match. But we did start off with Lacey Evans, cleverly stepping back and going, "You all settle this between yourselves. I'm just gonna wait right over here." She steps between the ropes, and immediately Mia Yim and Io Shirai go after Bianca Belair, who is the strongest of the competitors, and they know that, so they're gonna take her out. This match was a really good match. I'm not going to do a play-by-play because there was a lot that was going on in this match, and nobody wants to sit through another 20-minute review. But I gotta say some of the great points was, Lacey Evans was a very tactical heel. Io Shirai flying around the ring and teaming up with Mia Yim, and Bianca Belair inevitably teaming up with Lacey Evans to try and take the two of them out. But near the end of the match, the way it ended was a near fall late in the match by Lacey Evans, hitting Mia Yim with the ladies' right. This was broken up by Io Shirai. Io attempts to pin Lacey, but then Bianca Belair breaks out her fucking hair whip. I hate that. I hate the hair whip. I don't know why it's a thing. She doesn't need that as part of her gimmick. It's stupid and bad at everything. You can't get hurt being whipped by that hair. Unless you had like a little spiked ball on the end of it, or just a little ball on the end of it. It doesn't even have to be metal, but it has to look like it makes an impact. Hair does not make an impact, especially when you're swinging it downwards like, ow, my neck! This is hurting you more than it's hurting me! But yeah. Afterwards, Bianca Belair takes down Lacey Evans once more and pins Lacey Evans for the win with the KOD. The Kiss of Death, which is like, Power Bomber. It's fucking arrow? I can't remember. After the match, we had another match. It was a squash match. It was Mitch Taverna, a jobber, versus Jackson Ryker of the Forgotten Sons. This was a squash match that the crowd was not invested in. In fact, they seemed to be the opposite of invested because the crowd went mild. Jackson Ryker won. Obviously, there was no offense from Mitch Taverna. Then we got a promo from Velveteen Dream, hyping himself up and referencing all the stars that have talked about him. Like, Hulk Hogan, which he said Hulk Hogan on WWE TV. Oh, righty. Talked about John Cena, Shawn Michaels, Triple H, all of them. Who've been singing his praises. After that, we got an interesting promo from Tommaso Ciampa, attempting to convince Johnny Gargano to go for the North American title so that the two of them can take over NXT. Kind of like a reuniting of DIY, but not quite. And then after all of the promos and recaps were done, we got to our main event. And our main event is Heavy Machinery versus Undisputed Era. And this was a great match, but you knew what the outcome was because you already know that Heavy Machinery is going up to the main roster. Which really kind of ruined that. Surprises are great, especially when they're debuts. But, alas, let's get into this match. So, O'Reilly and Strong started off using clever tactics, distracting Tucker Knight and weakening him. Making sure that throughout this match, as per the usual, Tucker Knight was the weakest link in heavy machinery. But a well-timed tag by Otis Dozovic helped turn the match a little bit around into their favor. And they went through and beat them inside and outside of the ring. But inevitably, oh god, sorry. Trying to sort out my notes here. Inevitably, they got distracted by, I believe it was Tucker Knight got distracted by Kyle O'Reilly on the way back into the ring after he had gotten tagged in. And Strong came up behind him, and this was a weird spot. You could tell he was going for the, what is he called, the end of heartache? He went for a backbreaker. And I don't know what it was, but they looked like they fell off of the apron and onto the ground. And that looked like it hurt Strong more than it hurt Tucker Knight. But either way, Strong and Kyle bring the match back into their favor. They continue to tag in and work Tucker Knight in the corner. Strong gets Tucker into this weird looking leg lock that looked like it had no pressure on it. It was like watching The Miz put in a figure four. It was kind of weird to look at. So Tucker Knight decided to start selling it a little more, and then starts dragging himself over to Otis to try and tag him. But Kyle O'Reilly grabs Strong and then drags them back to the center of the ring. Tucker inevitably breaks out, tags in Otis, and like a hypersonic steamroller, Otis Dozovic barrels through both Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong, tackling them and bringing them to the ground. Tucker gets tagged in, hitting O'Reilly and the two of them hit O'Reilly with what I think Morrow called it the Haas toss. Strong breaks the pin. Tucker goes for a moonsault, but O'Reilly gets out of the way. Then Otis and Strong both get tagged in. Otis takes down Strong and goes to the top turnbuckle, but is kicked in the head by Roderick Strong after a quick diversion by Kyle O'Reilly. Tucker breaks the pin. O'Reilly takes out Tucker. Otis takes on both of the Undisputed Era, but with a high-low hit by Roderick Strong and Kyle O'Reilly. They knock him flat on his ass and on his back, and Strong pins him for the winsome. It's a great match, but it is difficult to get invested when you already know what the result is. You know that Undisputed Era is going to make it out of this match. You know that Heavy Machinery is going to lose. But regardless, it was a great match. It's worth a watch. NXT probably could have used another match and less recaps and promos. A little bit more time because they had about 7 minutes left on the clock before they ended the episode. So they could have had another match, or they could have had a longer match for Jackson Riker against a serious competitor, not just another jobber. All in all, though, I am going to give NXT a B, just a flat B. It was a good show, but it was lacking in luster because you knew how things were going to end. You knew Lacey Evans was going up to SmackDown or Raw. You knew that Heavy Machinery is moving up to SmackDown or Raw, so you knew they weren't going to win their matches. But that's my grade. That grade's a B. And if you want to grade it along with me, go up to the poll. It's right up there. Let me know what you thought of NXT, or let me know down in the comments down below. Hit the like button, hit the dislike button, hit subscribe while you're at it. We're here almost every week, except for some holidays, because, we have personal lives. But anyway, this has been Real Honesty without Jonn Ritland. I am not Jonn Ritland. I am the Durbinator. And you have a great night.